Welcome to another Garden City Arts online program. My name is Katie Guthrie and I'm going to be walking you through another fun printmaking process. So let's quickly talk about printmaking, even though we have a few times in our online series. Printmaking is when you take information from one surface, okay, and you print it onto another surface. So think of stamps. Okay, we've done monotype printmaking. We've used shaving cream as our surface where we've printed on top of it. We've used all sorts of things so far. This time we are using bubbles. So we're going to make bubbles using dish soap and food coloring. If you don't have food coloring, regular tempera paint will work. It doesn't work as well, but it will work. And you need to have a straw and some containers, one container per color. And then you are going to below create some bubbles and print it onto your paper. So, because we're printing onto paper, you will want to also have lots of white paper ready to go. And if you choose to continue with the video and not just stick with prints, but take it a step further, you can make some really fun art using some different techniques that I will show you during the video. Okay, so if you choose to continue on with the project, you will need a Sharpie, oil pastels, anything like that, something to color in solid. I would suggest having a pencil, a glue stick, and some scissors, and then also if you choose the cut and paste method that I'll show you here in a second, you will need a surface to glue onto. I would suggest like construction paper, a different color. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, friends, I have my station all set up and ready to go. I have my pile of paper right up here. I have a nice big open area that is ready to get messy from all of our bubble printing. And I have all of my bubble mixtures mixed, ready to go with a straw in them. So let's get started. The process is super simple, but really fun. What I do first is I swirl the bubble mixture around a little bit just to get it agitated so that all those bubbles get started. And then, of course, you blow in through your straw. All right, now I find that it works best if you tip the cup a little bit so that all of that bubble mixture completely covers the end of the straw, okay? And then of course, the more you blow, the bigger your bubbles are and the more bubbles you'll have. Now, do you see how the bubbles are coming up and out of the cup? That's a good thing. I want that. Now, all you have to do is take one piece of paper and put it on top of the bubbles. And I have a bubble print. Now, I think I could do a little bit better than that, get a few more bubbles going. I'm going to also show you another technique here in just a moment. Okay, I have my bubbles overflowing. Now I can scrape my bubbles off of my cup and onto my paper. When I do this, sometimes it can be a good thing, and then other times it can be too much. If your bubble mixture has a bunch of really little teeny tiny bubbles, that means it's kind of concentrated and you're gonna have bigger chunks of area of just solid color rather than those open little circles that are outlining the bubbles, okay? Do you see that right here? You can see the smaller clusters of bubbles create a denser area, so there's more paint, more solid areas of paint and less open little bubbles. So this is a good technique if you like this. However, if you like the lighter bubbles that I did before, then you are going to repeat what I just showed you, which is you are going to agitate the bubbles, blow through your straw, and print from the cup with your paper. Okay, so you can see the difference between the two. They're definitely a little different. This one is heavier, this one's a little lighter. Now, this one, even though it's very light, can be very effective. You just have to be patient and build your bubbles up slowly. This one is like instant, and it's awesome. So it just depends on if you are willing to be patient and go slow, or if you want to go fast. I'm going to show you a slow one really fast, and then we'll move on. Okay. Now, all three of the colors that I've just used, the red, the yellow, and the green, those I mixed with food coloring. The blue I mixed with only paint. So you're going to see a little bit of a difference here. The paint mixture isn't as vibrant as the food coloring. Okay, so what I mean by vibrant is that the color isn't as strong, okay? It's a little bit lighter, it's a little bit weaker, it's not as bright. So in my personal opinion, I would suggest using food coloring or liquid watercolor if you have it. I wouldn't suggest using paint, but if that's the only thing you have, it will work, as you can see. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with kind of combining the two techniques, right? Scrape off some of your bubbles and blow them on at other times. Look at this bubble cup. It is overflowing. Whew, so many bubbles. Make sure you have a paper towel on hand so that you don't have to do what I just did. Okay, I think I am almost finished with these. I want to do a few more things and then I will be done. I'm going to just speed up the video at this point right now. Okay, I'm all finished. I think I'm pretty happy with these bubble prints. Now, before we can do anything else to them, we have to let them dry. So, take all of your beautiful bubble prints, set them to the side for a little bit, maybe pause the video, and then come back to it and I'll show you all the cool things that we can do once our bubble prints are nice and dry. Okay, so our bubble prints are now dry, and I'm going to quickly show you two different ideas of how to take your bubble art and make it into something else, okay? So the first idea would be a silhouette, okay? A silhouette is basically a blacked out outline of an object. So you can choose your favorite object to be a silhouette. I'm going to do just a basic landscape. So for this step, you will need a pencil. You will need some kind of material to draw onto the paper. I like oil pastels. That's the way I'm going to go. But if you have crayons, that's okay too, or a marker or a Sharpie, or even black paint if you prefer. Whatever works, okay? You just need the color black. I'm going to make a little mountain scene really fast. So I have two mountains on this side, and then on this side I'm going to make some nice tall trees. When I'm making a tree, I'm just going to show you really fast on a blank piece of paper, wherever one of those may be running around. When I make mountains, you basically just make really, really wide upside down V's, okay? When I make a tree, I start with the center, and then I'm going to bring little tiny curved lines coming down. Let me draw that bigger. little diagonal lines that kind of curve at the end, coming all the way down to touch the ground. Now, you can draw it in, like I am doing, by starting on the outside, and you kind of start diagonal and then bring it in straight up and down like it is with the trunk, and then fan it out to the other side. And you'll have a nice tree, okay? All right, so I'm gonna have some nice trees, and everything below my mountains and trees is gonna stay black. Everything above it is going to be a bubble. Okay, so like I said, you can use crayon. I'm gonna use my oil pastels. I'm gonna create a line first. Your trees are gonna be hard to keep perfect and detailed with your oil pastel or crayons. If you want more detailed art, you're going to have to go with paint or Sharpie. You'll have more control that way. But I'm okay with it being not perfect. I want kind of some of the bubbles to show through. And then you just color everything in down below. Okay, I'm gonna call it good for now, but I could go back and use my oil pastel and color in and press a little harder. And do you see how all of those little pieces of white that are popping through will disappear? So there is my silhouette idea for the bubble prints. Now my other idea involves cutting and pasting, okay? So I can draw out little fish. I'm gonna make a little underwater scene. I start with a nice curved line. So here, let me grab my piece of paper again. I start with a nice curved line for a hill. Then I make a curved line for a bowl, and then I can add a little triangle. And that is a very simple, basic fish. Now, if you want to make it more advanced, you can come in here, add some more details. Let's see, there'd be a fin right here popping. Okay, and maybe make the head a little bit more interesting. Okay, you can do all sorts of things. I'm keeping my fish nice and simple for time's sake. So I'm going to draw a few different fish. I'm going to make some small ones and some big ones. And I'm going to speed up the video right now and then show you what it looks like at the end. Okay, so I have two different examples of what you can do with your bubble art. First one would be the silhouettes, okay, where you can choose any kind of object and create a dark outline against the bubble backdrop. And the second one would be where you take your piece of paper and you cut out different shapes and paste it on. I did a fun little fish underwater scene where the fish were swimming through some seaweed at the bottom of the ocean. So I hope you had a blast today. Remember to have fun, and if you have any questions, give me a message or a comment at the bottom of this video. See you all later.